All right, I'm not going to ask you what you want today because I had a request already for splits. It was online, so I hope you're watching. If you have blocks, these 2 blocks, really helpful for getting into splits, because when we're trying to get into the splits, we actually have to hold the pose for a decent amount of time. And if it's uncomfortable, the blocks can give you a little more height and a little more support. So have those handy if you have them. And we are going to start on our backs today, and we'll get right into the hamstrings. So go ahead and lay down and bring the soles of the feet to touch. Open the knees wide. Let the knees fall toward the floor. You can take your hands onto the floor or onto your body. And let's take 3 open mouth exhales. So inhale through the nose. Exhale. And just let that open mouth exhale settle your energy. Take another inhale. Open mouth exhale. One more. Close the lips. Begin to inhale and exhale through the nose. Start shaping the breath, making the inhales and the exhales longer and slower. Try to smooth out the breath. Begin to constrict the back of the throat. Let's take 3 more Ujjayi breaths here on our back. Last inhale here, hold it at the top. Take an extra little sip of air and then exhale through the nose. You can use your hands to draw the knees back towards center and keep that left foot planted on the floor, leg bent, and extend that right leg up toward the sky. You can take your hands, interlace them at the back of the leg, and walk the hands up the back of the leg toward the ankle, and then point and flex the right foot. A couple of circles in both directions. And release that right foot, bend the leg, right foot to the floor, extend the left leg up, hands behind the back of the left leg, start to walk them up toward the ankle, and then flex and point the left foot. A couple circles in both directions. Good, and then pull both knees into the chest. Nice little hug here. And then release the knees to the right, gaze to the left for a spinal twist. 2 more breaths here. Last full inhale. Exhale. Come back towards center and release the legs to the left. Extend the arm to the right, look to the right. 2 more breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. And then draw the knees back towards center. Rock the length of the spine. And come into a tabletop position. Place the shoulders over the wrists and the hips over the knees, and we'll take 3 cat-cows. So inhale, coming into cow pose. Exhale, rounding into cat pose. Go at the pace of your own breath, and then 2 more. Inhale, cow. Exhale, round into cat. Return to a neutral tabletop position, head in line with the spine, and then take that right leg off to the right. Tuck your left toes under, take your left hip toward your left heel, and walk your hands forward, getting a nice little stretch through your right inner thigh and your shoulders. Take another full breath here. Come all the way back up and switch sides. So extend the left leg to the left. Tuck your right toes under, right hip toward right heel. Walk your hands forward. Full breath here. Inhale. Exhale. And come all the way back up to tabletop position. On the next inhale, take that right arm high. And then exhale, sweep the right arm behind the left, but just extend it. And again, inhale. Exhale, reach. Last time, inhale. Exhale, reach, and this time release right shoulder and right ear to the mat. Keep the hips high. Take 1 more full breath here. Unwind, inhale. Exhale, release, and switch sides. Inhale, left arm lifts. And then exhale, reach that left arm to the right, sliding it behind the right arm, and then inhale again. Exhale, reach and twist. Inhale, extend. Exhale, reach and twist. Release left shoulder and left ear to the mat. Full breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, unwind. Exhale, release. Now keep the hips right over the heels for melting heart pose, the knees, and walk the hands forward and a little bit wider than shoulder distance apart. Release forehead toward the floor, release chest toward the floor. Take another full breath here. And walk the hands back up. Tuck all 10 toes under, lift the hips high, come into downward facing dog. Deep Ujjayi breaths here. Take 3 more breaths, lengthening through the back of the neck. Complete this exhale. Look toward the hands, walk the feet toward the front of the mat. Come into ragdoll. Find a nice bend in the knees, rest the torso on the thighs. Take opposite hand to opposite elbow. You can find stillness or movement here. Again, lengthening through the spine and the back of the neck, so let the head be really heavy. 1 more full breath. And release the hands down toward the mat, heel toe the feet together, and then slowly roll up to a stand. Find mountain pose, palms face out, fingers face down. Lift through the crown of the head, lower through the shoulders. Take 1 more full breath here. And then on the next inhale, reach the arms up overhead, tall mountain. Encircle left wrist with your right hand and then side bend to the right. Come back through center, inhale, and switch it out and side bend to the left. Come back through center, cactus the arms, pull the elbows down. lift through the chest. Inhale back to center. And exhale, hinge at the hips, come into forward fold. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come up to monkey, and then bend your legs, lift your heels, and come all the way down into a low squat. Option to take the hands off the mat, wrap the arms around the legs, reaching opposite hand toward opposite elbow. Take one more full breath. Release the hands to the floor if you have them wrapped around your legs. Keep the heels high, and then inhale, come up to forward fold with the heels lifted. Exhale, release the heels down to the mat. Take your peace fingers, wrap them around your big toes, and then start to draw the elbows to the sides of the mat as we pull the crown of the head down toward the floor. Okay, so we'll have some tension in our arms, but try and keep the neck long. So shoulders away from the ears. Take one more breath, just getting a little bit more into the hamstrings. And then release the hands. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, forward fold. Let's do that again. So inhale, rise up to tall mountain. And exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale, back to center. And exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, cactus the arms. Inhale, back to center, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, monkey, and exhale, ball of yarn. So lift the heels, come into a low squat. And this time we're not gonna hold it, so inhale, come back up to forward fold with the heels lifted. Exhale, forward fold, release the heels. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, forward fold. Plant the hands, step back to plank pose. Modification for plank is to release the knees onto the floor for one more full breath. Inhale. Exhale. Take an inhale here, and then exhale, shift forward, coming onto the toes, and slowly lower all the way down. Good. Zip up the legs, take the tops of the feet flat to the floor, take the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers. Go ahead and leave the feet on the floor and then just peel the chest off the floor. Good. Reach the hands back toward the heels. Take another full breath. And then for this last inhale, lift the feet off the floor. Inhale and exhale, release. Take the hands back underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes under, press up into a tabletop position or plank position, and then come back to downward facing dog. Take 3 more breaths in downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale. Take the right leg high, open the hip, bend the leg. Lift that knee up toward the sky, release the toes down toward the ground. Take another full breath. Inhale. Exhale. Straighten out the legs, square off the hips, and exhale, round knee to nose. Inhale, 3-legged dog. And then exhale, right foot to the outside of the right hand. Release the back knee down toward the floor. You can stay upright on the hands, or you can lower down onto the forearms. And then go ahead and take your right foot and bring your right toes out to an angle and roll onto the outer edge of the right foot. Good. This, of course, is optional. If it's more comfortable for you to keep the foot on the floor, feel free to do that. Let that knee fall open. You can even take the right hand and assist the knee and press it open. Again, optional here. Take one more full breath. And then come back up onto the hands, heel toe the right foot back towards center. We're gonna take 2 variations of half splits. So first, take that left hip over the left knee, and then forward fold over the right leg. Now flex the right toes back toward the face. Take one full breath. And then press the toes back down toward the mat. And you can stay here if this is most comfortable for you, or you can take the hip back toward the heel. And then with a nice long spine, you can forward fold over the right leg. And take one more full breath here, wherever you are. And then come all the way back to a low lunge. Step back into downward facing dog. One more full breath, inhale. Exhale. Now take the left leg high, open the hip, bend the leg. Lift the knee higher toward the sky and lower the heel closer to the ground. And then square off the hip, straighten the leg, and knee to nose. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left foot to the outside of the left hand. Come onto the right knee, and then option to stay upright on the hands or come down onto the forearms. And second option is to take that left foot out to an angle and then roll onto the outer edge of the left foot. You can use the left hand if you'd like to press the knee gently, a little more open. All of these are options. And come back towards center. Heel toe your foot back toward the middle of your mat, and then Arvada Hanumanasana. Take your right hip over your right knee and then forward fold over the right leg. Flex the left toes back toward the face for another full breath. And then point the left toes to the floor. Stay here or bring right hip back toward right heel, and then with a long spine, forward fold over the left leg. Another full breath here. And then come forward back into a low lunge and step the left foot back to downward facing dog. Walk your hands back toward the back of your mat, and as you do, lift the left leg off the floor. So you're coming into standing splits pose. In standing splits, we want the left hip in line with the right. So if you feel it hiking up, try and lower it back down. Your left toes are going to point down toward the floor, and then just use the strength of your leg to lift your hamstring to lift your leg a little bit higher while keeping the hips squared. Good. Take one more full breath here. This is a great place for blocks if you have a hard time reaching the floor. And then release the left foot to meet the right and walk the hands back into plank position. Option lower Chaturanga. So you can come halfway down or all the way down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Now hold here. Take your chin to your right shoulder. Come back towards center. Take your chin to your left shoulder. Come back towards center. And then just roll over the feet and come back into downward facing dog. Walk your hands to the back of your mat, and as you do, lift your right leg, coming into standing splits. 5 toes of your right foot point toward the ground. Right hip stays in line with left hip. And then use the power of the back of your right leg to lift it a little bit higher, heel toward the sky. And release right foot to left foot, come into forward fold. Walk your hands back to the front of your mat, coming into plank pose. And then Chaturanga. Upward facing dog on the inhale and back to downward facing dog on the exhale. Inhale the right leg high and then step through to a low lunge. We're going to come into pyramid pose. So walk your left foot forward. Release your left heel to the floor. Begin to straighten through the right leg. Draw the right hip back, left hip forward, and forward fold over the right leg. You should feel a nice stretch in your right hamstring. Take one more full breath here. And halfway lift, walk your left foot back and come into low lunge. Okay, now let's take extended pyramid pose now. So keep that back heel lifted and straighten through the right leg. Forward fold over the right leg, draw the right hip back, left hip forward, just like we did in pyramid pose. We just have an extended stance now. Again, a great place for the blocks if you have a hard time reaching the floor or staying balanced. Just working into that right hamstring. Take another full breath. Come into a low lunge and step back to downward facing dog. Walk the hands back to the back of the mat, lift the left leg as you come, standing splits, and then exhale, Jiva squat. So bring your left knee behind your right, come into a little ball, and then extend that left leg up toward the sky. Now we're gonna walk the hands forward to plank this time. Option to keep the left leg lifted. So we're gonna come into Ekapada Chaturanga, leaving that left leg lifted. Again, modification, you can take the foot to the floor or take the knees to the floor. Upward facing dog, inhale, and downward facing dog on the exhale. Inhale, take the left leg high. Exhale, step through. Walk the right foot forward and place the heel on the floor. Draw the left hip back, right hip forward, and then forward fold over the left leg, coming into pyramid pose. Really focusing on this stretch in your left hamstring. Take another breath. Come up to a halfway lift. Walk that right foot back so we're in low lunge. And then begin to straighten through the left leg. So extended pyramid pose this time. The back heel stays lifted. Once again, draw the left hip back, right hip forward to square the hips. And focus on the stretch in your left hamstring. Take another full breath. Come back into low lunge. Step back into downward facing dog. And then begin to walk the hands back toward the back of the mat, lifting the right leg as we come. Inhale here. Exhale, Jiva squat. Bring right knee behind the left. Inhale, extend to standing splits. And exhale, walk forward to plank, keeping the right foot lifted. So Ekapada Chaturanga on the other side. You can always set the foot down. You can always set the knees down. Looks really good, guys. Upward facing dog on the inhale. And back to downward facing dog on the exhale. Full breath. Inhale, take the right leg high. Exhale, bring the right foot to the outside of the left hand. Place the left heel down on the floor and extend that left arm up toward the sky. Take one more full breath and place that left hand back on the floor. Right leg lifts high up and back to three-legged dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, take the left leg high. Exhale, left foot to the outside of right hand. Place the right heel on the floor and inhale, right arm high. Take another full breath. Place the right hand on the floor and step back to downward facing dog. Come down to a seat. Cross over the ankles, extend the legs out in front. We're going to continue to open through the hamstrings. So we're going to take Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. Feel your sitting bones on the floor and then extend the arms up overhead. Forward fold over both legs. And then if you have a strap, you're welcome to put a strap around your leg or your feet. Or you can place the hands anywhere where it's comfortable. Work toward a nice flat back, reaching the forehead toward the toes. Take 3 more breaths. Maybe each exhale takes you a little bit deeper into your fold. Release from the fold. And then place your right foot up and over the left leg. We'll take it into a twist. So right hand out behind the right hip, left arm reaches up and over. You can hook the elbow. You can take a half bind or a full bind. Just keep the shoulders over the hips. Keep the left toes pointing up. Last full breath here. Unwind from your twist and then bring the left leg in. We're going to come into cow-face legs. So you'll just keep those knees stacked or work the knees towards stacked. If you have a hard time getting your sitting bones on the floor, you can always place a block underneath your hips. Good, and we'll take cow-face arms as well. So reach that right arm up and over, left arm behind. Maybe for the clasp, if you don't have the clasp, you can use a strap or you can take your left hand onto your right elbow. Work toward an upright spine, good adjustment, nice and tall. And then optional, you can forward fold if the hips are feeling pretty open. Wherever you are, last full breath in the pose. Release the arms and then take your right knee towards your left heel. Place your left hand behind your left hip. We're just going to open the hips now. So go ahead and lift the hips up off the floor. Extend your arm up toward the sky or maybe back behind you. You can release the head back if it feels okay on your neck. Last full breath. And come back down onto the mat. Extend your legs forward. Then we're going to take that left leg up and over the right for the twist on the other side. Take your left hand behind your left hip, extend your right arm up. You can hook the elbow to the outside of the knee, or you can take a half bind or a full bind. So your choice, just keep the head in line with the spine and the shoulders over the hips. So if you find that you're hunching or rounding or falling forward, back off the twist a little bit. Last full breath here. And release from the twist. Come into cow-face legs. So you're just going to bend that right leg, bring it under you. Good. And then just feel your sitting bones on the floor. If you can't get your sitting bones on the floor, the hips are tight, you can sit on a block. Left arm up and over, right arm behind. You can use a strap, you can take the bind, or you can take the right hand on top of the left elbow. Just stay upright. Keep that head in line with the spine. Continue to breathe into the belly. And then of course, option to forward fold. This side might feel different than the other, so just take it to your place of comfort where you are feeling a stretch in your hips and your glutes. Wherever you are, last breath here. Release the arms. Take your left knee to your right heel. Take your right hand behind your right hip. and then start to lift the hips up off the mat. You can extend that left arm up toward the sky, keep your head in line with the spine, or you can just very gently drop the head back and reach the arm back. And slowly release. Good. Make your way back into downward facing dog. Two more breaths here. Lift the right leg high and step through to low lunge. Lift the arms up off the floor, coming into Crescent Lunge. Hold here for another full breath. Good. Take an inhale here, and then we're just going to dip that knee down toward the floor. Good. Hold here, and then extend back up. And we're just going to do that 2 more times. Dip the knee down, just building a little heat here in the legs, and up, and then last time. Dip that knee down toward the floor. Good. And then open it up to Warrior 2. Another full breath here. Stay low in your front leg. Inhale, come into Reverse Warrior. And then exhale, extended side angle. You can take elbow to knee, fingertips toward floor, arm straight up or arm forward, left arm forward. If your arm's forward, bring it straight back up, and then just start to extend your right leg straight. If you have a hard time reaching the floor, if it feels like it's too much on your hamstring, give yourself a little prop here coming up onto the block so you can keep your head in line with this spine. Keep opening through your chest and your shoulders. Take one more breath. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, bring hands to your heart, sink down into a squat. Inhale. Exhale. One more, inhale. Exhale. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, bring your heels behind your toes and come into standing straddle splits. So again, focusing here on the hamstrings, tighten up through your quads, the fronts of your legs, your knees should be lifting, your quads should be nice and firm. And then you can reach your hands around for your ankles. If you can't reach your ankles, no worries, you can just take your hands to the floor, or again, you can take your hands to a block, just depending on the flexibility of your hamstrings. Continue to tighten up through your quadriceps. So protect your hamstrings as you go deeper into the fold. So if your head is already touching the floor, you'd want to shorten your stance a little bit so you have a little more room to lengthen through the spine. Another breath. Release your ankles if you have a hold of them, and then walk your hands forward, about 2 or 3 steps. 2 hands in one line, and then press your hips back. So your hands are even with one another. And then take 2 more breaths here in your wide-legged downward facing dog. Continue to engage through your legs. Last full breath. Walk your hands back, and then walk your hands to the front of your mat, low lunge. Inhale, step back plank. You can either take it to Chaturanga or downward facing dog. Your choice. Walk your hands to the back of your mat, and as you do so, lift your left leg high. Keep your hips level, and then exhale, squat. Inhale, standing splits. Exhale, squat. Again, building a little heat in the leg. Inhale, standing splits. Exhale, squat. Come back to standing splits. And then walk your hands forward. You can keep your leg lifted if you want. Ekapada Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. And downward facing dog. Inhale, take the left leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale up to Crescent Lunge. Take a full breath in Crescent Lunge. Inhale. Exhale, sink into that front leg. Good. Inhale. And then exhale, bring that right knee to hover over the floor. Press it back up 2 more times. Exhale. Exhale. Inhale. Good. Warrior 2. Another full breath. Inhale. Exhale. Stay low in your front leg. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Left elbow to left knee, or left fingertips to the floor, or to a block. Right arm up, or right arm forward. Now, start to straighten out through the front leg. Maybe now is when you need a block. You can prop yourself up with a block. You want to keep a nice extended spine. If your arm was not already upright, bring it straight up toward the sky. Keep your head in line with the spine. Okay, so you're going to be feeling this in your inner thigh and your hamstring. Maybe your hips as they're opening up. Last breath. Rise up to 5-pointed star. Use your core. Reach up through the fingertips. Exhale, come into your squat. Okay, this time we're just gonna flip the hands. Fingers are gonna point down. You're just gonna sweep your arms up. Inhale. Exhale, hands through heart. Sweep it up, scoop it up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Keep going with the breath. Take it at your rhythm. Three more. Make this one your deepest squat. All the way up. Bring your heels behind your toes. Hinge at the hips. Reach through the fingertips. Prostrate Padottanasana. Standing straddle splits pose. We're just here for 2 more breaths on this side. So take it right away to your maximum where you left off last time. Don't forget to engage the legs. Last breath. Halfway lift, and then walk the hands back to the front of the mat for low lunge. Step back, plank. Optional, of course, chaturanga, or you can go straight back to down dog. Upward facing dog on the inhale, and downward facing dog on the exhale. Walk the hands back toward the back of the mat, lifting the right leg as you come. Exhale, squat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squat. Last time, inhale, lift. Exhale, squat. Lift it back up into standing straddle splits. And then optional Ekapada Chaturanga. Walk your hands forward. Lower down. Upward facing dog, inhale. And downward facing dog, exhale. Inhale, right leg high, and exhale, half pigeon. You want to work into the hips in preparation for splits as well. So lift up and then lower down. It's going to be a shorter hold for pigeon, so we'll be here for 5 breaths. Complete your exhale, then come back up onto the hands. So we want to stretch through our left hip flexor and our left quad. So begin to bend that left leg. You have a couple of different options. You can take your left hand to the outside of your left foot, just drawing that foot in. If you have a strap and can't reach the foot, you can put a strap around. Option number 2 is to take your foot from the inside, and then you can take it into a little twist, looking back. Option number 3, if you have your foot from the inside, you can start to bring the foot into the crook of the elbow. If you'd like to experiment with mermaid pose, that's an option as well. Binding the hands, opening the shoulders. So your fullest expression. Mostly though, the focus here, the purpose of this pose today in class is to open through your left hip and quad. So I want you to be feeling it there. It's gonna have to be very open for Hanumanasana, splits pose. Okay, gently release that foot back down toward the floor. And then we're just gonna slide that left foot around, left leg around. Bring it off to the side, bring your right foot to your left inner thigh. Okay, we're gonna forward fold over the left leg first, so face the shoulders towards the toes, lift the arms up overhead and forward fold. One more breath here. Okay, release. We'll take it into a twist and a side opener. So bring your left hand toward your right knee, and then right arm reaches up and over for your left toes. And if you have a strap, you can put your strap around your foot, keep the shoulder nice and open. You can release that left hand from the knee and place the forearm on the floor. Lots of choices. Last breath. And release. Good. Make your way onto your back. Okay, and take your thumbs right underneath your hips, not your whole hand, but just your thumbs. Lift your legs straight up. Hold here. For 3, 2, 1. Now extend your legs closer to the mat and hold here. Press your low back down. For 3, 2, 1. Now come halfway down. Press your low back down and hold here for 3, 2, 1. Bring your heels to hover over the floor and hold here for 3. Press your low back down. And 2, and 1. Bring your legs up and hold here for 3, and 2, and 1. Bring your legs higher up and hold here for 3, 2, 1. Bring your legs all the way up and hold here for 3, 2, 1. Hug your knees into your chest. Keep your right knee in, extend your left leg long on your mat. Interlace fingers around your knee, bring your knee to the right and up toward your shoulder. Nice compression for your right hip. Flex all 10 toes back toward both knees, pull the elbows in. And another full breath. Bring your knee back toward center and extend your leg up toward the sky. All right, so if you have a strap, you can put the strap around your foot. If you can, reach your peace fingers around your right big toe. Extend your left arm to the left, and then extend your right leg to the right. Work toward keeping your shoulders and your hips flat to the floor. Keep your quadricep engaged, so the top of your leg nice and tight. Another full breath here. Come back through center, and we'll switch sides. So extend your right leg long on the mat. Pull your left knee in toward your chest. Interlace your fingers around your knee. Pull your knee to the left and up toward your shoulder. Elbows in. Flex all 10 toes back toward your face. Instead of hanging out here, be really active. So find a deep compression in your left hip. Continue to pull the knee toward the shoulder. Bring your left leg back towards center. Extend your left leg up toward the sky. You can put a strap around your left foot or left peace fingers around left big toe. Bring your right arm to the right, place the palm down onto the floor, and then open the left leg to the left. Keep your right shoulder and right hip pressing down onto the floor. Try to avoid rolling off to the left. So stay active in your left leg. Come back towards center. And then bend both legs, stamp your feet to the floor. Let's take another hip opener in bridge pose. So press into your heels, arms alongside the body, lift the hips off the floor. Hold here or take chest expansion. Interlace hands underneath the hips and roll onto the shoulders to get a little more height. Just an option though, whatever's most comfortable for you, as long as the neck stays nice and long and the gaze stays neutral. So avoid looking to one side or the other. Just keep the gaze straight up. Last breath in bridge. And slowly lower down. Rock yourself up to a seat. Good. Grab a quick sip, and then we're going to make our way onto our stomachs. We're going to continue to open through the quad and the hip, the front side of the leg, while doing a little spine strengthening at the same time. Chase and shade. And come down onto your belly when you're ready. All right, this is probably my least favorite spine strengthener, but it's a good one, okay? So build a lot of strength and a lot of flexibility in the leg. We're gonna take half bow. So extend your right arm forward, bend your left leg. We're gonna take the foot from the outside for half bow. Okay, so bring your legs, zip them up, knees touch, good. Lift everything off the floor. Yeah, doesn't feel like you're going very far. It's a very challenging pose. Keep your head in line with the spine. Now, as much as you can, kick that left foot into the hand so the quad is really active, stretching through the hip and building strength in the spine. Take another inhale, release. Just place your left ear on the mat. Take a couple breaths. I know. Come back towards center, extend your left arm long, bend your right leg. Take your foot from the outside, zip up your legs, knees are touching, and then lift, like a millimeter. Kick your foot into your hand as much as you can. Last breath. And release, right ear to the mat. Ah. Press back to extended child's pose, hips to heels, arms long. Take 3 breaths, knees wide. And walk your way back up. All right, it's a moment we've all been waiting for. Grab your blocks if you have them. If not, no worries, we can modify. And go ahead and come to kneeling, and we're just gonna walk that right foot forward out in front of us. Okay, so here we are back at half splits pose. You can stay here, okay? You have the blocks. If this is even too much, you can just bring them up to a higher height, whatever works for you. Okay, using the blocks, you can start to walk them forward as you slide your foot forward. And just come, walk them forward, slide your foot forward. And keep going. Okay, so really working just to the edge of your stretch. So maybe at this point you take your blocks to a lower level. And slide that back leg back a little bit. So feeling the stretch in the hamstring, but also the stretch in the left hip flexor and the left quadricep, okay? So we did a lot of poses throughout class to prepare the body for this big posture. Now, if you are able to come into the full expression of the posture, we want to eventually bring the shoulders over the hips. Okay, that'll continue to increase the stretch in that left hip. Okay, if you feel like you're rolling off to one side, try to scoot that right hip back, left hip forward. Looking very good. Maybe for the last couple breaths, you go just a tad deeper. 3 more breaths. Last full breath. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Walk your way out of it and then come to sit on the hips on the heels and then just give yourself a little wiggle. Maybe a little massage for your hip flexor. Good. All right, I chose my good side first, so it might be different for you, but we're gonna come onto the left side now. So maybe this is your good side. We're gonna come up to kneeling and then take that left foot forward. We'll come up to maybe the highest point of your blocks. It totally depends on where you're at on this side. So you'll just start to walk your foot forward. You can walk your blocks a little bit forward as you slide forward, and then just slowly come onto a lower level maybe of your blocks. You'll just stop where you need to stop on this side though. As much as you can, continue to stay very active in the legs by pulling that left hip back and right hip forward. If you reach the full expression of the posture on this side, bring the hips back or the shoulders back over the hips. Work with the breath. We increase the length of the muscles by holding the pose. This is how you gain flexibility. And I feel like maybe I'm a little too deep, so I'm going to back off a little bit. So listen to your body. Take 3 more breaths. Last inhale, exhale. All right, and release. See, I just wanted to rush out of that side. That is a hard posture Takes time to build that kind of flexibility. Wiggle out your hips, maybe a little massage of your hip flexors. Good. All right, so go ahead and come to a seat. We're gonna take a seated twist. We're gonna take half lotus twist. So if half lotus is too much, you can always just stay in easy pose. Otherwise, take your right foot to your left hip, left hand to your right knee, walk your right hand around. Okay, maybe you can reach for your strap or a toe and bind, but a bind is not necessary. Again, continue to keep the shoulders over the hips, the head in line with the spine, and take 3 more breaths. Release, and we're gonna switch sides. So bring your left foot to your right hip for half lotus on the other side, or you can just take it out in front. Just switch your legs out. Right hand to left knee, left hand out behind. Maybe left hand takes hold of a strap or a toe for a bind, or you can place it on the floor for support. Good. Alignment looks really good, both of you. And go ahead and start to look out over the left shoulder for 3 more breaths. Unwind. Place both feet flat to the floor and lower down onto the back. I'm going to take one optional inversion today. If you'd like to take shoulder stand, lift your knees toward your shoulders, lift your hips off the floor, hands to low back, and lift your feet up toward the sky. Keep your neck nice and long, gaze is neutral up toward your toes. If you're in shoulder stand, slowly, one vertebra at a time, lower back down onto the back, but keep your feet lifted and come right into happy baby. So take hold of the outer edges of your feet or your big toes or your ankles, separate your legs, bend your knees, thighs parallel with the floor. Hug your knees into your chest. Find a nice compression of both hips, big squeeze. And release, Shavasana. Extend the legs long. Arms come to rest alongside the body. Start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Roll the wrists and the ankles. Big stretch, reaching arms up overhead, full body stretch. Fingertips to toes, and roll onto the side. Take a last moment here to acknowledge your practice. Set an intention for the rest of your day. Make your way up to a seat. Bring hands to heart. Inhale deeply through the nose. When you're ready, let it go through the mouth. Today, as you go forward, may you have peace in your thoughts, peace in your words, peace in your heart. Namaste.